Hello everyone, I'm going to be doing another dot hack story. This one is going to be before Sign and is going to be after the world is released to the public. As you will see to my right, I have some general information about characters, so that way you can kind of like see, okay, so this character is so and so and who they are. Now, I'm going to start with some information. Duh. I mean, that's what this video kind of is. Okay. So, as Aura is being made, and in the last video we discussed that it's by taking basically information from the players and putting them into her own body, that use this information or information that Aura rejects is being discarded back into the system, back into the world. When it's rejected and put back into the system, it becomes its own entity. This entity becomes artificial intelligence. They become wandering AI. They are quite literally, some of them form into players. They look like normal PCs, which are people who are playing the game and what you make your character look like. If you ever played an MMO, you know how they generally start with you designing your character. Some AI are aware that they're AI. They know that they are part of the game. Others think that they're actual people who are playing this game with other players. And because they think that they're normal people, they even have fake memories, which they get from players. They even log off and believe that during this time they are asleep or they're doing real life things. It's blurry on who is a player and who is actual AI. CC Corp, in order to get rid of this AI and keep normal players from realizing there's something very different and very weird about this game, established a group called the Cobalt Knights. The Cobalt Knights were created. They're mostly long arm users, and we'll get into that. They are there to moderate and destroy wandering AI. CC Corp and everyone but Harold are unaware of Morgana and Nora. The only one who seems to be aware of Morgana is a player named Helba, who gets her name from the epitaph of Twilight, and a Harold, who is now part of the system and is dead. So, for the most part, everyone is unaware that Morgana exists within the game. Also, normal players are being PK'd, which is player killed. Essentially, some players in the game have taken it upon themselves to start killing other players inside of dungeons. It has become such a big problem that a lot of people are talking about stop playing the game. This is the only MMORPG out there, so it is the only game to play. A group is created to help stop people from being just generally assholes online, and they are called the Crimson Knights. It is a group of people who play the game and join this thing called a guild, and they have no moderation or authoritative power except for what they kind of instill upon themselves. They kill PKers, and also if they see anything CD like hackers or people who have odd accounts or weird looking characters they shouldn't have, basically either hackers or AI, they pass that information on to the Cobalt Knights or onto moderation or administration. So, even though they're not administration, they get a certain little bit of leeway. Now, we can move on to some of the world's information. It is an online game, and just like any MMO, like WoW or Guild Wars, there are towns that people seem to come to. There are root towns, and these root towns are basically places that people hang out before they go into dungeons. And in order to go to a field, which then goes to a dungeon, you have to go to the servers. There's this floating ring, and you input 3 words. It could be any 3 words. It could be your name, it could be your dogs, it could be a street nearby. It doesn't matter what you choose. Any 3 words will take you into a dungeon. There is Delta server, which is the root town. His name is Makanu. Theta server, which is Don Loriag. Lambda server, which is Carmina Gadalica. Sigma server, which is Fort Oaf. And Omega server, which is Liafel. There's also a place within the world called Netslum, and it is a place where wandering AIs are safe from are safe from being being killed by moderation. It is also the place where hackers like to hang out because they are the only ones who can access it. In the original world, there were 6 classes, and they are Blade Master, which uses a normal sword, Heavy Axeman, which use large axes, Heavy Blade, which uses a very large blade, Long Arms, which use staffs, poles, and spears, Twin Blades, which use dual daggers, and Wave Masters, who use rods and have access to more powerful magic. Now, every player falls into one of these groups, and I will be using them when I explain what certain characters are. You don't really need to know what they mean, just know that it means that they are a player, and that this is just the kind of weapons that they use. Now, I'm also going to be explaining the One Sin event. In the world, there was a limited time event where they made a monster that was so powerful nobody could kill it. If you could kill it, you could design a special character basically any way that you wanted to. The One Sin event, there was only one monster on this entire field. There was no dungeon. It was just a large snowstorm and a giant enemy. The One Sin, sometimes described as Spectrum Dragon, and I'm reading this from the .hack wiki, seemed to take absolutely no damage while it dealt lethal damage with every blow. On top of that, its HP totaled at 65,536. To put it in perspective, a character at level 65, a character at level 70, may only do 90 damage per hit if they are, for example, a Twin Blade, which, using this from Kite from the Outbreak. The only way to cause damage is to attack while it's using an elemental attack, and even then, only an attack of the opposing element can damage it. The One Sin is a boss that counters every attack by using the same element used against it. Because the average player's first instinct is to attack, few players would actually see its pattern of attack. Quite literally, this event went on for a long time, and people would go in parties of 3, which was the maximum party. People would come together in groups of 50, and this thing would still knock them all down. Eventually, it was beaten by 2 players. They were Balmung and Orca. Now, you'll see them up there. Balmung is the one with the green, and is the one with the white hair, and Orca is the one with the brown hair and all the cool colors on his skin. Because they beat the One Sin event, which was considered the hardest possible thing out there, a poem writer went on to the BBS, the official World Forum. She was there when they defeated them, and she called them the Descendants of Fianna. The Descendants of Fianna is a Celtic thing, which basically means that you're a guard for the king, and it's practically hellish to get into. God, what is going on with the mouth of this guy? Seriously, Jesus Christ. Okay, anyway. So, in the poem, she describes Balmung as Balmung of the Azure Sky and Orca as Orca of the Azure Sea. And they become the 2 most famous players of the world. Balmung has a tendency to help Orca has a tendency to help new players get settled into the world. Balmung has a tendency to just be an entitled asshat, and you won't like him. At least I don't. Okay, anyway. This brings us into AI Buster, which happens before Sign and is where we get set up for most of the events. Now, in Dot Hacker AI Buster, there are two characters to really get to know, which are Alberio and Lycoris. Alberio is the leader of the Cobalt Knights, and they again are the ones who are moderation in the world. And it is his job to take out wandering AI. And as we said before, these wandering AI are created when Aura does not take in certain information that is gathered from the players. Alberio is on a mission to track down and destroy one named Lycoris, who seems to almost act like a regular player. So he finds Alberio. Well, Alberio finds Lycoris. He tries to kill Lycoris. Lycoris actually divides herself into multiple pieces. As he tries and tracks down all the pieces so he can put her back together and then kill her, he actually gets to know her better and realizes that even though she's not alive in the real world, she still has a sense of life and death, and that death confuses her. She doesn't want to die. She also understands that she's not a part of Aura, which is the ultimate AI. Essentially, to an AI, Aura is God, and God has not accepted her. Alberio creates Lycoris after getting all of her pieces, and at first, he decides to go against his job and is going to keep Lycoris safe from anyone who will want to kill her. Lycoris, unknown to him, stabs herself with his spear. The spear that the Cobalt Knight uses can kill AI for good, so she decides to die. So before she dies, she tells Alberio about Morgana and Aura, and that Morgana, Mode Gone, is basically a horrible person, and Aura is God. She is the savior, and she will bring the internet into a new age. Now, Alberio, by this point, after Lycoris dies, and tells him that there is a storm coming that could very well that endanger both the net and the real world, he's very tired. He's done with his job. He's tired of being CC Corp's lapdog, and he now knows there's something dangerous in the world that they refuse to accept as being real. He is told to track down a Wave Master, who they're not sure if he's an AI or if he's a real person. What they do know about Tsukasa is that about this Wave Master. I just spoiled who the fuck it is, so that's great. What they do know about this Wave Master is that he has a guardian, a creature that attacks people, and when it attacks and kills them, they go into a coma in the real world for a limited time. It is called data draining. Someone has put it on the official forums that Tsukasa is a rare enemy type, and that by killing this Wave Master, you get a lot of experience. He becomes this enigma of sorts. Everyone knows Tsukasa or has heard of Tsukasa. They've heard of this lonely Wave Master who's journeying around the world, who never logs off, who's always online, and has a strange creature that seems to be following him. So what better way to just have fun than try to attack this monster and Wave Master? Alberio is sent out to kill Tsukasa so that way there can be no more attacks on normal players, who are now starting to get on the forum and go to this forum post and say, no, don't do it. I fought this guy. Next thing I know, I'm waking up on my floor because motherfucker killed me with one hit and then I fell unconscious. So that's fun. Alberio goes after him. He sees the Guardian and is attacked. Alberio is stabbed by the Guardian, and I will show a picture of the Guardian in the next video. He's stabbed by the Guardian. He wakes up in his home a couple of hours later on his floor, and he realizes that he was data drained, which means that the past couple of it put him in a coma in the real world. Something that he now sees the chorus was telling the truth. Whatever is going on in the world can destroy the real world, and it can endanger people's lives. Alberio cannot get people at CC Corp to listen to him, and he cannot get them to pull the plug on the game. So he decides to quit CC Corp and leave them to their own fate. While he's gone, he places Leos in his stead. Leos is now in control of the administration, but CC Corp puts a tighter leash on all of its players. In other words, you either do what they say when they want you to, or you are gone. We'll find out more about Leos later, and about Tsukasa, as he's quite a big part of Sign. So we're going to call it quits here. This is a rather short video, and I hope my friends enjoy this. And if you have any questions, once again, just leave them in the comments, and I'll try to answer. Okay, y'all have a good day.